This is the Dave and Juan More Time podcast. My friend Andy Dufresne crawled through 500 yards of foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. You're being asked to watch 30 minutes of these two fools. I think Andy had the better deal. This is Dave and Juan.
Here we are.
That's right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
And I'm Juan.
And this is Dave and Juan.
More time.
Let's go home. Got it.
All right.
Got it.
It's a wrap, man. It's a wrap.
Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. Doing good, man. You know,
good. Back to doing evenings. Well, the people don't care because they see this when they see it. But back to doing the evening.
It's funny because it's my daughter's out of school this week for spring break, and I couldn't figure out why it felt like I was getting home so early all week. And typically after school she has swim practice, and I pick her up from there. Well, today's Thursday when we're doing this, and it took me until today to figure out 4 days into the week.
Happens die hard, man. Talking about swimming, you ever swam in the bayou?
One time.
I was thinking about that. We grew up on the bayou. I've never in my life jumped in that body of water.
It was, and I remember when it was. The picture that's in our intro of you and I,
right
back in college. That was at the school radio station picnic or something.
It was KNSU, or KVFG against the Nichols Worth, the newspaper. So, as I recall, we destroyed them.
That's right, man.
And they're not here to argue. So
that's it. We won everything.
Embarrassing,
including the drinking contest, which is what prompted me to go swim in the bayou afterwards.
A little too, but that's the Thibodeau Bayou. That's almost clean water right there. That's
right past the weir.
That's how I used to look at it. It's by the time it got down to my neck of the woods, man, it had picked up some stuff.
It was a lot wider and a lot deeper though. But
it's true story of this guy that jumped in. Well, I knew guys that they did it. They'd swim, and I'd see some of the stuff in that. And I don't know if it's cleaner or not now. Honestly, I'd hear stories when my parents were young. The bayou was pretty clean. They talk about there were porpoises in there. There were, you could fish. I guess technically you still can fish. I think people still do, but this is going to be gross, but I don't care. This guy jumped in and hit a dog.
Was the dog alive?
Oh, no. Not so much. No. A friend commented, we were talking a few shows back about Highway 308 being joking, oh man, don't take 308. That's the road of death. And a friend commented basically correcting me saying, Bourg-LaRose Highway. Highway 24. I wouldn't even know that's what it's called. Nobody grew up calling it Highway 24, but the Bourg-LaRose, and anybody from that part of the world knows, oh yeah. That's the.
See, I don't think I've driven. I know I've had to have passed. You go from down the bayou to Houma.
I think it's LaRose. It catches in LaRose, and for anybody who's not from the bayou, I have no idea we'll throw a map up there. It goes from LaRose to, I guess it's Klondike or something. I guess is the technical, and that sounds funny. Even saying that Klondike,
that doesn't make the bars.
That's right. That's right. And on there, right toward the end, where civilization still is a I think it's called Daniels. There's it's sort of like a frost top kind of deal, but it's an old, and they must have made the best chocolate shakes in the history of chocolate shakes. Cause so my wife and I have been married for going on 28 years. And our first home was down there, and we've been back visiting family for, all this time. I don't know that it's possible. And we've driven that road 1,000 times. I will promise you 900 of the 1,000 times she comments on the shakes in that place. Let me walk by. I'm just thinking, I wish I have anything in my life. I ever had something that was that good, that for 20 something years, I'm like, man, they make some good shakes right there. And I know she doesn't sound like that, because she's going to say, I don't sound like that. Oh, we didn't give a shout out. I'm sorry.
Where did y'all live?
We had a house down in Montague.
See, this is what I remember. Take me down to that Montague city. Shag is green.
We were supposed to change the carpets in that house. We bought an older house, and we decided to have a party because why, if you're going to get rid of the carpets,
might as well spill on it.
Yeah, why not? Like, it's give all the carpets a farewell party and just invite a bunch of friends over and not worry about making a mess. And we never changed the carpets. We ended up selling the house, so did a little cleaning on that.
But I didn't.
What I do miss about the roads on the Bayou, nobody's riding a bike. Nope. Nobody. I've never had to slam brakes on 308 or even LA1 for that matter, because some fool was out there on a bike. And
it's insane. And it's daring, but it's the sense of, I don't know, maybe you feel differently, but it's almost like a sense of entitlement. And I'm going to pump my chest at you. And how dare you expect me to not ride in the center of this freaking lane? And
I wonder if they know how many of us, and maybe are just fantasizing. Like, I don't want to kill you. I'm not that mean.
I'd like to scare the dog out of you.
Talk about this, and it's funny, not fun, not a funny subject, but kind of funny. Back in the radio days, down on the Bayou. So there was something that I guess the state troopers are putting on some type of training. Mm-hmm. Where they had rookies, and it might have been local cops too. I forget the makeup. I know there was a lot of law enforcement in the room, and it was at some hotel in Homa, I think they had it. And they asked me and some other folks to be, I guess, the guinea pigs. And it sounds like a fun gig, right? You show up, they have a little bar set up, and they just let you, and they encourage you, like, partake and just, start going at it. Because what they do is they'd stop I think the first time they let you go like 30 minutes. And then after that is just keep going. And then they give you the breathalyzer to check your alcohol content. And then they would test you. Because I guess what they were trying to show these young cops or whatever,
impairment, what
to look for. And what I remember was, and again, I got to preface all this with, this was all legal.
Under the supervision of professionals.
When we were in college, and this was after college, right? So, but going back, so the drinking age was you were legal, it was, so there's a lot of training that went on for this event, basically what I'm saying, in college. And I remember we're doing this, and there were some young ladies there and a couple of guys, and a couple of them I remember, like, we weren't 15 minutes in, and they were blowing alcohol. They didn't take them along, okay, and they were just botching these tests. They couldn't walk a line, couldn't do anything else. Well, I mean, a few guys, and so I'm doing it. I don't even remember how many, but so they finally got me to the point of, all right, you're legally impaired. Yay! So they start doing these tests, these things. Walk the line, do this, ask me this. Dude, I'm crushing it. I'm crushing it. And it
like
was
Johnny Fever from KRP, man.
Man, it was weird because you don't want to get, and it wasn't even about being cocky. You just, and plus they're cops. You don't want to get smart with a cop. But after, I don't know what it got up to. I mean, it wasn't dangerous. They weren't going to do that to you. But I was, and about the third or fourth time, maybe 2 hours into this, because that's about how long it took. They come back to some of these tests, and I can tell one of the guys giving the exam was getting aggravated at me, like, because
Just proving his theory.
A little bit, and your party wants to say, "This ain't my first rodeo, man." I mean, but so now, granted, blowing the thing, yeah, they'd be like, "No, you can't," and but yeah, it was just, I almost felt like an athlete.
Like, it was like your pro day or something.
Man, exactly. Like, oh man, you got the wrong guy here. I wish they'd have asked me to do. That was the old joke too, or joke or wives' tale about doing the alphabet backwards. Remember that?
I used to practice that.
Oh, I can do it right now.
Z-Y.
I'm gonna ZYX WVUTS RQP ONM LKJ IHG FEDCBA. And I didn't read that, there's a little song, ZYX and WV, UTS and RQP, ONM, LKJ, IHG, FEDCBA. When I was a kid, we'd go to bed at night, and back in those days, the repeat button on the, it was you take the arm of the phonograph and you play a record, and you just take it and just let that record 33 play forever until the kids were asleep, till we were asleep. And there was an album that on it was Sesame Street. And there was a joking kid in there that said, I didn't learn my alphabet forward, but he said it backwards. So, and he would do it, the song Z, Y, X, and W. Well, guess what? When you go to bed, Lord knows how many times I heard that thing overnight. But by the time I hit kindergarten, right?
You were ready for driving. Yeah. So today my wife sends me a picture.
That would be Joey.
That would be Joey. So I'm gonna get applauded when I walk down. She stopped at a traffic light on major intersection right near our home. Gas station on the left. 4 or 5 lanes over in the left turning lane is a car out of gas who I guess just ignored it, but had to walk over and get a gas can.
So we got a guy out of gas. Out
of gas in front of a gas station. But
apparently with
in the traffic.
But did he have a gas can?
Yeah, you can see in the picture. Here's his gas can.
He's done this before.
He's prepared. And like I said, I seldom put gas in my car until it's on fumes. I've driven down the road and drive back and forth, because in my mind, I'm swishing the gas around to the bottom of the gas tank so it can get to the carburetor.
My wife is that way. My wife, maybe not to swish around the gas, but I'll ask every now and then, how many miles? And now we have the count, right? I think I got 9 miles.
Yeah, 9? I don't stop like when mine gets inside of 10, it just flashes. And I'm sitting there saying, all right, that's at least 15 miles, and I'm 12 miles from home.
Man, not me. If I get down below 50, a friend of mine told me something I'll never forget about gas prices, and everybody's got these apps and various things. And he just always says around here, he says, just watch where the yard crews fill up their tanks. He said, whenever you're driving around, whenever you see the yard crews, they're all pulling the trailers. They got their own network. I guarantee you, they're getting their gas at the cheapest place. So forget your apps, forget driving around, looking at signs. If you find the place, and it'll switch. If the gas station's where you just find, where's the yard crew filling up? That's where you go. It's never failed me yet.
There you go. Lessons from Dave.
They put me in an honors English class, which is fun. I was in an honors English class. And it actually ended up being a blessing, because normal English classes, they were much stricter on like punctuation and grammar. And I mean, to this day, I have trouble remembering what a gerund is. I'm really terrible at doing that stuff. But in honors, they didn't worry about any of that stuff. You didn't have to do any of the stuff that I hated. And it was just
read
or just mostly writing. No. And what you soon learned, that if you kind of paid attention in class, they sort of talked about
what you needed to write about.
Kind of much. And then what I remember sitting there, and I'm in a class, we joked about, private schools. So I'm sitting in this class, and I'm everybody in there at the time was all they were like E.D. White, Vanderbilt, and some other parts of the state and country. And we're going to be covering whatever book, and everybody in the room had read. Oh, I've read that twice. Oh, I did a paper on that. And I'm just like, I ain't saying nothing like I didn't read. Really? Had a book? What's right? Hamlet. I took a midterm on Hamlet and never read it.
Oh,
Got an A. I lucked out. Got an A. There were people that were watching the movie. They went to the library, watched a 4-hour movie on it. And what happened was the teacher just assumed, and she was great. She just assumed that everybody had read it. So she wasn't going to test you on your knowledge of Hamlet. It was, she gave a couple of descriptions. You got to choose a couple of excerpts. And it was basically discuss irony, discuss how this shows irony. Here's what's irony. Here's what's irony. Here's what's ironic.
I'm getting an A on this one.
I'm about to nail this test, and I didn't read the book.
You know, things you're talking about reading and just all of the different options kids have now in school. I don't think they have nearly the same fun options that we had or the play options. It's like, you know, heaven forbid somebody would get a brush burn, you know, this soft play or whatever, soft turf on the playgrounds. Yeah, we ran on asphalt through rocks, you know,
it was accepted. Playground equipment.
Right.
You look back at old playground equipment. It looks like torture chambers now to people like, oh, you can't have that. Like, really?
Yeah, we had, you know, we called it seesaws, basically a plank on a horse. And one person would stand on one end and 4 people would be on the other end, and you'd bounce it and see how high you could throw them.
Oh, what I remember with seesaws were you just had to be careful because you're always gonna have an idiot that wants to get you.
Yeah, you're up
jump off, right? Bam.
And it's the funniest thing in the world. Do it 10 times, it's still funny.
And I can remember at 7, 8 years of age, I can remember the thought process that led up to the first time I broke my arm. And the funny things about it is that we have on a contest of jumping off the swings. You done that?
Done it. Yeah.
So you just, right. You're on and even the swings back then.
Oh, ours, I promise you. And yeah, I guarantee you they were 10 feet tall. Like the A-frames that held it up.
They were big, and you could get some serious, and there were chains, right. Even enough weight to get a young body going. Now, here's what's a couple funny things. So me and some friends were jumping off the swing and having a contest.
Right.
You know who was judging the contest?
Right. The teachers.
The teacher.
You want to be supervised.
The teacher. In fact, honest to goodness, it's the teacher that picked her nose all the time. As far as I can. But she wasn't at the time. She was out there, and she was literally marking the dirt where we were landing. So we had this, and I was close, and we were doing it, and I can still remember it, and it seemed like a good idea at the time. And I thought, I'm probably losing momentum when I what if I went off this way? What if I jumped and leaned
have
forward?
To stick the landing, in other words.
And I did. And I won. And I broke my arm.
Yeah, but you won. That's the important part.
Here's the deal. I didn't even know it. Like, it hurt pretty bad. That was the last time I jumped off. Went back to school, went back to class, and talked to the teacher a bit about, man, my arm hurts. And it was like, yeah, rub some dirt on it. It was right today. Oh my gosh, if somebody, you got a boo-boo, you're going home. I am sitting after recess with a broken arm saying, my arm hurts. It'd be all right.
Shouldn't have jumped off the swing.
Slept that night, went to bed that night, got home, told my parents, my arm kind of hurts, and well, fine. And I had trouble sleeping that night. So the next day I go in and I had a broken arm.
We also had, and not that this was dangerous, but tetherball.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
But the tetherball poles were in a tire that had cement. So that was standard.
That was standard operating procedure, man.
So
you can mess yourself up on that.
Yeah, my first concussion.
There you go.
Was on a playground, running, tripped on a stump from the oak tree, and landed on the concrete from the tetherball pole. Yeah. Stayed at school for a while. A couple hours later, got sick, and they said, "Oh well, maybe you better go check this out or something.
Maybe that major blow to the head might be something we want to look at, but look, okay, so we were not apparently safe on the playground. We weren't always safe in the classroom. Again, things you remember. We as children, whatever grade, I think it was third grade. Because we passed mercury around in our hands. I'm not talking wearing gloves. I don't know where they got it, but the teacher had it because mercury was so cool. I don't know if somebody brought it. I don't know. I don't know if the teacher thought it was a great idea or somebody just brought it in for show and tell. Hey, look what I got. I got mercury. And mercury is kind of cool. You know, it balls up, it rolls around. It's an interesting. And we passed this ball of mercury. Oh, look, kid to kid around the class. Make sure everybody gets a chance to handle this. There you go.
My wife is a teacher, and she teaches.
That would be Joey, right?
Joey, that's right.
Yeah,
She'll be excited.
Give her a shout out. Yeah, hey, Joy. Good to see you, Joy.
Yeah, her. Yeah, when I go downstairs, after this, the first question is, "Did you talk about me?"
And my wife's just the opposite.
A little, self-absorbed on this thing. But apparently, a couple of weeks ago at her school, a first grader got caught vaping in the bathroom.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So
a what grader?
First
grader.
Numero uno.
Vaping.
Yeah.
Vaping. Okay.
And they thought it was odd because the child took an unusual number of bathroom breaks that day. So the thought is he was taking a smoke break. Oh my God. Well, maybe because I don't have children that young anymore, that I find that,
I find it kind of
humorous.
Well, or disturbing. And look, I guess we were fortunate. We didn't have a lot, but you didn't see a lot of fights at school, partly because you were more likely to get injured in the breakup of the fight than in the fight itself.
Right.
Because we had coaches who I think some of them just looked forward. I mean,
they look like bouncers on
I think they just walked around saying, I hope someone does. I hope today's the day you decide. So you could always tell if somebody was serious about fighting as if they left campus as one of these meet you after. Yeah. That's when you're serious. You stay away from those, right? You can get all mouthy in school, right?
That's a sense of confidence there that somebody tells you I'm gonna beat your butt, meet me such and such a place after school, and you go. That says enough about ego right there for anything. Now, I guess if you don't go, it's worse than getting beat up. But
I remember I had a guy in whatever grade it was who told me last day of school he was gonna whip my butt. I remember the guy's name. And I'm not gonna because I think he's still around. I know he went to prison. I know that for a fact. Because I ran into the guy years later. He was cut. He looked good. He came up to me like I was his brother, man. I mean, he was just like, Dave. And it took me a while to figure out who this guy was. And like I said, he looked like a guy got out of prison. But he said he was, and I just wanted to ask him, do you remember you spent a month promising to kick my butt on the last day of school, to the point of the last day of school, I was just, and he probably
you skipped the last day.
Man, I was, and thankfully he didn't. So maybe it was mind control the whole time. And I think he were kind of friendly. We weren't good friends, but that was all. It was like, well, apparently that kind of behavior didn't do too well because my man spent some time in the joint.
My mouth, I think, should have gotten me in far more trouble than it did, because I could talk a good game as though I would dare to fight somebody,
right?
And that whole first mistake you make is coming at me. Second mistake you make is thinking that I'm not going to beat your butt type deal. Which the third reality is if you come at me, I'm going to run. So
I've got a third level here.
yeah.
I'm bluffing. I'm going to up that bluff, and then I'm going to go. Well, so when were you Taekwondo? You were doing that in college?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the high school and college. This is the only time. Well, I had a time where this guy who later became a priest was drunk as all get out in the bar, and in some dude's face.
On behalf of Catholics everywhere, thank you for sharing this.
And then pulled me into it as though, this guy's a black belt, so he's gonna kick your butt. And I said, dude, I got zero to do with this. No, not happening.
You watch too many episodes of Kung Fu. You know it doesn't work that way, right?
But then one time I was at this bar, and I don't know, got in some guys a little scuffle in the bathroom type deal. And the guy went outside, and then it was, sent word into the place that he was looking out there waiting for me. And it's like, oh,
there you go.
What am I gonna do? So now, the people who worked at the club, who I knew, were sitting there, and so I'm standing there, and I hear somebody over my shoulder say, "What are we gonna do?" And somebody said, "He knows karate. Let's see what he can do." And I said, "Well, that's it now." Here it is, man. So it's like, gotta go. So
did you sneak out, or did you have to confront? You popped him?
Yeah, he was coming at me, and I just threw a quick kick to gut, and it was done.
You threw a kick. It's funny.
Yeah, I was the most nervous person there. But
yes, I mean, most people with sanity it doesn't end well for anyone.
No, fight. No.
It looks good. It looks good on TV. It's all. It doesn't. Yeah, and most even people that win fights tend to not come unscathed. And if nothing else, you get your clothes messed up. About Master. Do you remember? I'll call this guy, and I call him out because he was okay. Remember Master Lee at Nichols? Yeah.
I took the PE. We used to have PE.
We had in college. We had to take PE.
Yeah, and so I took Taekwondo as a PE class.
Okay.
And I was already a black belt.
Right.
And I ended up teaching half of the classes while he'd sit down.
Do you remember how he called roll?
Uh-uh.
Man, he might have done it with you, but he did. I know this more than one class. He was the only guy to this day, and God bless the guy. I hope he's still around. I've never had my name mispronounced in my life because it's a very simple name. Dave Martin is hard to butcher, or David Martin is hard. I'm sorry. It's as vanilla as it gets. And I forget what he called me. So what he would do was, first day of class, you'd call your name and he'd give you a number. So if there was 25 people in the class.
Yeah, you had a number.
I was number, say 12. Okay. And that's how he called roll. And so you'd show up for class and, he didn't play. It's like number one, number two. I'm not making this up. We're about a third of the way into the semester. And some fool apparently had got his number wrong, and he'd been answering the wrong number for that. And it's so like after certain, and I forget how many absences, if you had too many absences, you failed the class. Now, apparently, and to his unlucky for him, the number he was answering was somebody that had dropped the class. And I'm never going to forget, I was close enough to hear the conversation, and Master Lee was a hardball. He was explaining, I've been here no, you have not. You number or whatever. You're not here. You never here. And he's like, I've been. It was funny or him arguing. And Master Lee probably didn't care. He called it and went. But it was quite an argument for this guy to prove. Yes, I've been in this class every time you taught it. I just been answering the wrong stupid number. All right, that time of the week, we know what it is. Push the button.
Dinner time. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, well, you get that on your mind, man. Get some jelly beans, son. Is that time? We see if it's stuck to tape, so to speak. But yeah, it's been fun. We thank you for being with us this week. Again, reach out. We love hearing from you. It's Dave and Juan at protonmail.com. We read everything and have fun with it. And if we can, we insert it to future episodes.
Check it out on YouTube. It's where you're watching this now, or maybe you caught us through Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can always get alerts when we've got new stuff posted, and share it with your friends.
Please do. All good. We're just having fun, and it's more fun when you're along with us. So I'm thinking next Monday sounds good.
Probably about 7.
All right. Have a great week, man. Love you, buddy.
Peace out.